Hello, everyone. It is Denise from Loving Life at 60ish, and I'm back again today with another scrapbook project. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard of Allie Edwards, One Little Word, and I have been following following her process with that for years now. And the last few years, I've actually taken the class that she offers with it. And this album is 2022. And I thought that I would show it to you. This is going to be a chatty version of it, but if you would like to watch the quiet flip through of it, I will do that also. I'm so excited that you're here. I hope that you are loving life also. As I always say, things are not always rosy, and I don't love everything, but I sure do try to keep a positive outlook. And yeah, so this will take you into a little piece of my life. Like I said, last year, this was last year's completed project. And my word for last year was focus. This is my little talisman for it. And focus was a life-changing word for me. I mean, I can't even, I say that I think almost every year. There have been some years where the word just really, that I've chosen, doesn't really resonate with me, but focus chose me. And I did not want to do focus. I didn't want anything to do with it. It sounded too demanding, uncreative, but I stuck with it, and boy, am I glad that I did. And I hope you enjoy this flip through. Please, it is so important to me that you like, that you subscribe, that you comment. Any of those things are so helpful to me. And mostly, just let me know that you're here, because I love that you are joining me on this journey called life. You don't have to be 60ish to be here. You can be any age, basically, and something will probably resonate with you. So again, I'm going to talk through this one. The first card I used says, "Words matter, thankful to learn more about myself through this journey." And a lot of the products I use are Allie Edwards. If it's not an Allie Edwards product and I know where it came from, I will certainly let you know. The bird here is a embellishment from Heidi Swapp. It's an older one, not sure if they're even available anymore. And then this Fresh Start in here is also an Allie Edwards. I made it into a shaker page. So there you go. And just sewed up the top of it to add just a little bit of glitter and glitz to it. I also tried my hand at working some digital things this year, and using Canva. And so in Canva, I made this focus card, and then I just put a sticker that was glasses on top of it. And that's the back of the shaker page. This says, "Starting right here, just as I am," another Allie Edwards. And the dividers for the year are Allie Edwards, as well as the pieces that are on them for January. One of the things that I really wanted to focus on this year was my health. For 2022, and hopefully this year too. And I love this saying. I use it almost every year. I don't want to get to the end of my life and find that I have just lived the length of it. I want to have lived the width of it as well. There's my little Willow dog. She's named after Grandmother Willow in Pocahontas. And yes, she is a King Charles Cavalier. Someone had just commented and asked me that. And she is. She's one of two that we have. What I ended up doing is this page here is used one time throughout the 12 months on a regular basis by Allie, but I chose to try to include this in every month with a focus. And so my focus for January was on chair yoga. I have some physical problems and wanted to do yoga, but found that I really needed to start off slow. So I found some chair yoga videos on YouTube and used those. And I did 27 days out of 31 in January, which was, phenomenal for me. I don't know that I've ever stuck with something for 27 days. So that was very exciting to me. And I didn't even start until the 4th of the month. Again, this is sort of her setup every year. My one little word is focus. My reason why, a quote that has to do with your word, a definition, things that I'm going to let go of this year, things that I want to invite in this year. And then this is, sort of putting all in one place what you're hoping for the year 2022. In what ways is my word already a part of my life? More of and less of. What do I want more of and what do I want less of? More fresh air, less crowded spaces. More doing, less watching. More laughing, fun, time with friends and family. Less worry and wasted energy. What do I fear most in the coming year? And what am I most excited about for the year ahead? And then your intentions, what you intend for the year around your word. And again, I did a lot of this digitally and added words to it. These I made, this was a woman's idea. She had done sort of a 4-block or 3-block across intentions on her intentions card. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do this in here. And so I found pictures of what my intentions are. Don't just dance, move the world. Get rid of what is holding you back. And then the other side, I did the same thing. I took some of what my intentions were here, found photographs or took photographs and added things to it. February, showing up this month with an open heart. Guess what? It's my birthday in February. And then for February, I stuck with chair yoga. Originally, I was going to add something else, but I found that I really needed to concentrate on one thing right now. And so I did 27 days in February, which means I missed one day in February doing chair yoga. I was very impressed with myself. This is a living life at a 10. Basically, what does it mean to be living life at a 10? Where would I want to be in that? And I just I had a photo of me and I just added words on top. This was I think this was kind of an extension of this. Another photo of me and just some different parts of my life that I wanted to do things in. Physical health, I wanted to focus on chair yoga, floor yoga, daily walking, and losing 62 pounds. I will tell you that I did chair yoga all year. I started daily walking in April of last year, and I did not lose 62 pounds. I lost 27 pounds, but I was happy with that. One of the months of the year in the course, she usually does a vision board. So this was my vision board, and I did this all digitally and then just added embellishments on top of it. I did each section of my life. So This focus was on my spiritual and kind of soul focus. This was on my home, spaces in my home that I wanted to work on. These are not pictures of my home, by the way. They are pictures of the way I would like my home to be. This one was focus on creativity. One of my goals was to make a scrapbook room for myself and to work on my workroom and also my actual work, my All Dressed Up Couture business. And I did pretty well with that. I still do not have a dedicated scrapbook room, but I am working on that. This is focus on my health. So, drink water, eat better, sleep, walk on the beach. I'm only 10 minutes from the beach, folks. And then focus on good people in my life. So me and my kids in Disney, my best friend, my card making buddies, my husband, my 2 little girls. This is Merida, named after Princess Merida, the Brave, from Brave. And then that's Willow, named after Grandmother Willow. And into March, as you can see, every month I did a large size photo. Sometimes there was a reason behind them why I chose that particular photo, and sometimes it just was a photo I took that month that I really loved. This is me and my son. My focus for March was, again, yoga, and I did pretty good. I'm working on doing the practice for 100 days, and you will see that coming up pretty soon. In March, I did 30 days. So again, I missed 1 day of chair yoga. It also was the month to write a poem. And so this is my kitty cat sitting in front of my fireplace, my electric fireplace. And the poem that I wrote: quiet and warm, cozy. The noise is silenced. I am watching, wondering, worrying, hoping, longing, planning. My book forgotten in my lap as the light mesmerizes me. Focus whispers, I am here. I see you. Take my hand. We will walk through this together. In my mind, I work hard to stay on course. Chair yoga, healthy foods, rest. Focus says, slow down, one thing at a time. Focus wraps its arms around me and reminds me there is light, there is hope. I remember why I started this. I want to live. I want to dance. I want joy. I want hope. Focus says, let's sit a while. Tell me more. I know life is short. I know I will make mistakes. I know spring will come and then summer, fall, and winter. I know I am loved. Focus reminds me to slow down. Take a breath. Let's go, Focus says. I will light your path. You just need to focus on the journey. Focus. I am hope. I am joy. I am light. I am the space and the quiet. I rise up and begin again. And the way we did that was to have a conversation with ourselves around our word and a conversation with my word talking. And then you it was a whole process. You put them side by side, and then you kind of write it into a poem. And I used to write poetry when I was much younger, high school. And so that was enjoyable to me. This is April. In April, my daughter and my grandson and I went to Universal Studios, and I hit the 100-day mark in my chair yoga. I was so excited. And look at this, in 100 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, I did not do chair yoga. That's pretty exciting. It took me from January 4th to April 13th. I added another focus into April when we got back from Universal Studios. I discovered that I was sort of a mess walking. And so I added walking to it because fast forward into November, we were going to Disney. And I knew that if I didn't start getting in shape, I was going to be in trouble. And this was just the list of steps that I took in Florida during those 4 days. And yeah, so you can see there were a lot of steps taken. And we were only there for 2 days, and 2 days were for travel. So there we are. Remember, have fun, get curious, adventure, document. There's me in my first attempt at Disney bounding, only this was Universal Studios bounding. I was obviously in the Gryffindor house. Choose your adventure was the theme of April, and so I have my Harry Potter sneakers on, and I talk about my adventure of finding a bounding outfit and going to Universal Studios. Another adventure, Focus and I spent an afternoon meal prepping. Focus did the grocery shopping as an adventure one week. Focus and I went on a walk and took some pictures. This is what I see on my walk every day. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like the shape of a butterfly here. And it's just cracks in the road that created that. And then Focus went with me to Florida. I am open to the next chapter. May, Progress Over Perfection. This is my bestie. And we're always talking about putting one foot in front of the other. I did add another Focus in May. I didn't start it until the 15th of May, and it was to do with my home, focusing on my home. I'm going to spend 30 minutes each day working on the den to create a scrapbook room at least 3 days per week. I did pretty good. I did 11 days in the month of May. My goal changed, and it was to create a space for my mother to stay when she came to visit. Here, this is just a cleanup job that I did around the desk that my mother uses when she comes. And so I focused on chair yoga. I didn't do as much that month. I did 18 days. I walked 21 days, and I called it Couch to Disney, and I'm going to walk at least 10 minutes each day, which I did, and I increased that time, and then the focus on the home. We talked about small progress is still progress, and different ways that I'm seeing progress. This is me out on a walk. And then in June, I bought myself a weed whacker, and I went out and started weed whacking, dwelling on the possibility of actually having a lawn instead of having a tall field with a bunch of junk on it. So I also started gardening in June. And so I stayed with the same focuses: yoga, home, and walking. Again, I did pretty good. And I also joined Weight Watchers, and this shows my decrease in pounds from May 18th to June 28th. I worked on decluttering some of my house. Maybe you can see close up there. There's one of the dogs, and there's Merida, and then there's one of my little cats. He just passed away last week. And then the other cat is just not in the picture. And so in this month, I talked a lot about... This is May. This is June. Talked a lot about getting my house together. Some of the things that I'd been working on. June is sort of a an accumulation of what you've done throughout the year so far around your word. I had been taking pictures of my garden. At the very beginning of June, I had to let my gardener, the woman who was setting up my gardens, go for some, difficult reasons. And so I thought, okay, I'm just going to do the gardening myself. And I did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then this is a worksheet that she gives us to answer questions, just to give us some idea of where we're at so far with our word. Another picture of my garden area. In July, keep room in your heart for the unimaginable. And these are at the botanical gardens here in Maine where I live. They're gorgeous. Again, I did yoga and walking, and I changed the house work to focusing on my work, my all dressed up couture business, because it was starting to get busy with Halloween orders, and I needed some motivation. So I did some tracking with that. Got back on track with my yoga and my walking. Celebrate every win, no matter how small. This was a bird bath that I had painted and added to my garden. Celebrate the small wins. Remember that I didn't have a lawn. It was all kind of tall grass and field. And I spent quite a bit of time weed whacking for those 2 months and got myself a little sitting area. And then these were small wins, things that I was proud of. I'm keeping up with chair yoga. Actually, I think a lot of these were big wins. I finished One Little Word 2021. I did yoga 93 days out of 100. So I just wrote, I purchased an electric fireplace for our living room. I joined Lauren and Eli on a trip to Florida. And that was the first trip since COVID started. I have been doing healthy food prep. That's one thing that I learned last year was I really, really enjoy healthy foods. And then this was some more. I added these to a piece of vellum. August, unfolding. Another one of my garden photos that I took. I do make these into cards, by the way. And in August, I went to yoga and walking. I sort of went back to the basics, and I wrote a note to myself. Dear Denise, take a deep breath and know you are doing an amazing job keeping your focus. Keep going. It does not have to be complicated. Progress over perfection, my sweet friend. You are in your busy season, so be sure to give yourself a break. With love, me. And this indeed was my busy season, August. Usually the end of July through the end of October is crazy for my business because I make children's dress-up clothes. These were some other cards that Allie had provided in our course. A fresh start isn't a new place, it's a new mindset. I just printed that out on vellum. No, I printed it out on a transparency. Today is a fresh start. Embrace imperfection. Listen to my heart. Begin again. And that's what August was all about, was sort of reestablishing your word and beginning again, which I really needed come August. September, collect beautiful moments. Big story about my sunflowers. They were crazy. I mean, they were so big and so tall. It was amazing. And then this was a rainbow that was up over my sunflowers one day. Again, I was working on yoga and walking, and as you can see, they dwindled off for September. And sometimes walking was actually gardening, depended on what I was doing that day. And it does say I may have done more days, but I stopped keeping track because work was so busy. So, you know, I'm going to give myself that. Again, this is from my garden. Our prompt this month was all about looking for the light, taking photos, and creating a visual diary of our word. So I took some photos of my garden. It says, this brings me hope. Here's that rainbow again. This brings me joy. Most days, those are my gardening shoes. This is the light of my life, my 2 little girls and my grandson. And of course, don't tell my 2 kids that they're not in that picture too. Remember is a window in my living room looking out at the sunflowers that I grew. This is hard right now. This is my sewing machine, and it's a one of the dresses that I make many times for a not just for Halloween, but all year round. It's a Merida dress, and I just didn't want to work. I just didn't feel like it. Some days this shows some roasted vegetables. Most days this is all of the animals on my bed. My 2 little dogs and our 2 little cats. They're both 16. They were brothers, and this one just passed away last week. I love. This is what I am learning. I was actually doing the artist way, the 12-week artist way, and it was so eye-opening, such an amazing process. This is me. This matters. This is my husband helping me dig up the rose bush from my dad's house that I brought over, and it was out in the woods more than on the lawn, so I wanted it on the lawn. And his mother's peony bush that she had given me, so we made a little memorial garden, which is wonderful now because my mother-in-law just passed away last week also. And this makes me happy. I was drawing flowers. This is what I'm learning. I'm also taking an herbalism course, and I was making calendula oil, and look at those sunflowers. This makes me happy. And into October, this is going to be a very long video. I'll try to move faster. We had Thanksgiving early because my son over here in the corner works on a tugboat, and he had to go back to work. He works 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off. So we celebrated Thanksgiving early at his house. And then this tells you that I made it into Wonderland by the end of the month. My goal was to make it under 200 pounds before we left for Disney. And I indeed did that. We were to interview someone about, these were questions just about myself in general. So I interviewed my bestie. And then we had other questions which were more about our word, which was focus. So I interviewed my therapist, and he's cheering in this picture because I had hit Wonderland. And then in this envelope, it does come out. There is a series of emails back and forth from my therapist all year. That's how we communicate, because I only talk to him once a month usually, and so we communicate through emails in between. And these were all little nuggets of knowledge about focus. So that's what's in there. And then November, you have come so far. This matters. This brings me hope. This brings me joy. This was my walking stats in Disney. And you guys, I walked a total of 41 miles, and the total steps. And come to find out, I had COVID. I was terribly sick while I was there, but kept testing negative. And so I wore a mask and just thought, okay, well, I must be all right. And the day I got home, I tested positive. So, and like I said, I was sick the whole 8 days that we were there. And then this was a exercise about I am, in answering I am questions. I took a photo of myself with little Tinkerbell here that I had taken in Disney. I am 59. I was 59 years old. And then these are all just things about myself. I am being gentle with myself. I am being kind to myself. I'm giving myself grace. I am remembering, learning, growing, evolving, showing up. I am trying my best. I am enough. I am making space for me. And then we had another sort of I am activity, and so I talked about having COVID. It was my first time ever having COVID, and I was very, very sick. I have asthma as it is, and it made things worse. And, you know, I talked about how taking care to focus this year helped me enjoy the trip. And then these were just I am statements throughout the month. December, we talked about my focus returned to yoga in December. And as you can see, wah, wah, wah. I didn't do very well. This was facts about the word. This word was the best word I could have walked through this year. This word started because of the quote, if not now, when? So there are several, this is all about focus, the facts, the feelings behind the word, what I want to remember with the word, what I'm forgiving before 2023. This was on Facebook. It went around Facebook, and I thought it was perfect. So, and then photos of focus. I take so many photos that I like to add some. So, you know, these are kind of tiny, but there's good food, my garden area, my little sunflower seedlings coming up out of the ground, work, going to Disney, my little girls, my COVID test. And then there's a little flip up here. I don't know if you can see that. It talks about focus. And here are just a few things focus helped me with. And then there's some more pictures of focus. And then that's the last picture. Be brave with your life, choose to shine, do more yoga. That's it, folks. Again, it was a life-changing word for me, and it is continuing through 2023, although I have a different word this year. But I have to keep going back to focus over and over again because it has been a hard start to the year, the last 2 months. And so I continually go back to focus and what I need to be focusing on. So thank you so very much for being here. And I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know if you do a word of the year. And if so, what is your word right now? What have you chosen for a word for this year? My word for 2023 is create. And I'll talk more about that another time. Thank you all. Have a great day. Bye.